I want to tell you about these Tecumseh overhead cam motors. These things are great motors, and they're in most of the Woodings. And the first time I looked in a Woodings motor compartment, I noticed there was oil all throughout the motor compartment, on the belts and the transmission. And I thought, man, that thing must need rings. And after I started looking at these motors a little closer, I started remembering some other lessons about the Vanguard motors and different things I've come across that have had oil issues for different reasons. The first Vanguard I got for free because the O-ring in the dipstick was leaking. And Briggs couldn't figure out why these motors on generators were burning oil. And eventually a friend of mine who's a dealer kept trying to get the rep to figure things out, and they replaced the motors and took year-old motors off in good condition because they couldn't figure out why it was burning oil. And in the end, they ended up changing to a bigger profile O-ring in the thing. So that's one thing that can cause oil burning. If your dipstick is leaking oil, you can put a little pressure in your crankcase vent, put some soap bubbles around there and see if that's leaking or not. Or like I did, just put new O-rings on all of it. Another thing is the breather for the crankcase originally came straight down here and ended on top of this crankcase cover, which all the blow-by from the motor, if any at all, which all motors have some blow-by, would just land here, blow into the torque converter, and get everything wet. Plus it would make soot all along the fuse box and all the wiring in the motor compartment. Pretty ugly. So what I did to solve that was I tack welded a little piece of 3/8 tubing into the back of the air cleaner inside the air cleaner element, and made a little bend here and put a clamp. So like all modern Tecumseh motors and all motors, the crankcase breather vents into the back of the air cleaner, creating a better vacuum, makes the ring seal better. The other thing is these motors don't have any valve seals, which a lot of lawnmower motors don't. But I went to the local machine shop and I took the guy a box of donuts, and the nicest I could ask him, I said, man, I need some exhaust seals, you know. And he ended up going through about 30 boxes of them because it's 5/16 hole, and I'm not sure what that is, 7/16, ½ inch, the actual guide. But I took the head down there and we got the boxes out and we tried them on the valves and found a couple. And this one we use on the exhaust is called an umbrella seal. It rubs inside the spring just a little bit, and it'll actually be a little bit off of there, but that's fine. It'll still keep most of the oil dripping off of that guide, so it can't suck back in there as the exhaust flows out. And this is more of a positive seal for the intake like they use on small block Chevys and things. And it fits tightly on the intake, and so that's going to prevent oil consumption too. All these motors I've taken apart so far have had scratches in the cylinders, and the rings and everything have been fine, the wear's been fine. It's just, I think it's due to carbon buildup on the piston, and that carbon at times breaks off, scores the cylinder a little bit, and you lose a little compression. So that's a couple of things you can do to keep your motor compartment clean by recycling this crankcase vent, using oil seals to seal off your valves, keep some of the oil consumption down, and most important is make sure your dipstick, that your motor's sealed up. All your seals are good, seals on your dipstick are good, and it keeps the crankcase in a negative airflow so the rings seal better. Anyway, hope that helps.